Hi, this is Gordon Duff, February 3rd, 2011, with Veterans Today TV. My guest today is Veterans Today staff writer Jonathan Azaziah. Jonathan, how's it going today?
It's going good, Mr. Duff. Let's try next time not to butcher my name. It's Azaziah.
Azaziah! I've been calling you the wrong thing for an awful long time, but I've been saying nice things about you to a lot of folks. You've been doing a lot of radio lately. What have you been on in the last 2 weeks?
I did The Ugly Truth with Brother Mark Glenn, and we had a great discussion about the division between Muslims and Christians that is being manipulated by the Zionist entity. I've done a couple shows with John Stokes. I did one yesterday regarding the revolution in Egypt, and we showed our solidarity with our brothers and sisters there. I did the Free American with Clay Douglas, and we had an excellent conversation about the ADL, the New World Order in general, and 9/11. And I also did The Watchmen last night, and we had a hell of a conversation about Brzezinski's grand chessboard theory. And it's all because of you, brother, so thank you for getting me on.
Well, actually, last night I think you had my slot last night, which was fine. I was watching TV, but sitting there with a phone. Of what's going on today, a couple of things here. I did a bit yesterday with Dr. Izzat in Egypt, who's our man on the ground in Alexandria, and we've got a crew in Cairo also. But one of the things Izzat brought up, and he brought up several things. I don't know if you've had a chance to hear his piece yet today, but he believes that the revolution is not calling it that. The Lotus Revolution is a secular revolution, and although this was disagreed with by Hamid Gul, who was on KPFA yesterday also, but that it's not Muslim-based, but secular, and that the Muslim Brotherhood is a very small component, and that Egyptians are not necessarily ready to move away from secular government. They just want to move away from Mubarak's secular government. What are you hearing?
I'm hearing the exact same thing. I've been keeping close tabs on what's happening, and I think that the Zionist media has attempted to blame this on the Muslim Brotherhood as a way of discrediting the people. But there's been live images and live footage on the ground of women wearing the hijab and the niqab and men in traditional religious dress that are standing side by side with men that have bears in their hands. The reason why this revolution is so powerful is because it has eroded and eradicated all the differences that are constantly rammed down the throats of people in the West about the Muslim and Arab world. There are no Muslims anymore. There are no Christians anymore. There's no rich. There's no poor. There's no ethnic division. Everybody is standing up for one reason and one reason only, and that is to bring down Mubarak and to end the U.S. and Israeli meddling in their country.
Well, I was listening to Ken O'Keefe yesterday on RTV, and we did him the day before, and then Ken and I usually talk sometimes a couple hours a day. But his RTV piece, which is pretty powerful, he is looking for this to move into Western Europe. When we're evaluating dictatorships, I spend enough time in Germany. I don't see anything different there at all. Living there is to me, as much a dictatorship. Anytime you have a controlled news media, anytime you have a government that's under foreign control, and the German government is under as much Zionist control as the American government, as is the British government.
Absolutely.
These are people that and this is what you and I, of course, believe, along with our brother Ken, that these are governments that need to fall. And, we in the U.S. here, the Tea Party came in to bring down the American government based on the belief that it was no longer following the Constitution. I don't believe they've kept true to those beliefs, but
not when Murdoch and the Koch brothers are funding them.
No, not when they're working for the Israelis, and the Constitution they've got is about 15 words long.
Exactly.
Mine has a mention of habeas corpus in it, and my Constitution squeals like a pig when you move a Patriot Act near it.
Right.
and and somehow the one they have doesn't. One of the things we talked about here earlier was the situation in Pakistan. Now, you've pretty much pegged that the unnamed individual arrested there and the guy who claimed to be a diplomat is a Blackwater employee?
Yeah, that's definitely what I picked up. And what I've noticed, what's been happening in Pakistan over the last, I'd say, 3 to 4 weeks is we've been seeing a lot of car bombings. Now, obviously, when you hear about a car bomb equals Mossad. Everybody in the Arab and Muslim world knows it. It doesn't even. It's like elementary at this point. It's like you wake up in the morning, you hear a car bomb go off, and you know it's Mossad. And they bombed a mosque with Shia coming out of it who was celebrating a religious holiday, and it murdered 14 people. And then I know that there was another bombing that murdered 7 people and injured 14 others. And then there was a truck bomb that went off in Peshawar. And all of these bombings are taking place to offset and to deflect the Blackwater infiltration of Pakistan. And the report that I mentioned to you just a little earlier is that RAW and Mossad ordnance units have infiltrated Pakistan, and they've been coordinating strikes with Blackwater, or Z as it's known today, via this policy that they have called the Dragon Policy. They implemented this Dragon Policy right around the time the U.S. invaded Afghanistan at the behest of Israel. And the idea of the Dragon Policy was to create an atmosphere of chaos within Pakistan, so it would make it easier for America and Israel and Britain to utterly destroy Afghanistan, and that's exactly what's happened.
Well, one of the things that I reviewed earlier on, American invasion plans that were written up in the 1980s for Iran, and I think I've talked about this before, but the only way into Iran is through the Pakistan province of Baluchistan, which is most of it is sparsely populated. It's south of Afghanistan. It is where the U.S. and is calling it anything but that, but the U.S. is transporting narcotics into that province of Pakistan and having them flown out to Western Europe and the United States. We know the airfields, and for anyone that wants to look up Baluchistan and look up the port of Gwadar on Global Earth or on Google Earth and pick out the airfields and then follow the roads to Kandahar, which are tough roads here, and why the Taliban is working for the U.S. protecting those heroin shipments. But that's pretty much something else. I'm finding that same information is that Blackwater International or its derivatives have the State Department security contract, in Pakistan. Now, the issue here, of course, is this last problem we had with the American being arrested, the phony diplomat. Nobody knows his name. This is Lahore.
Yeah.
Lahore, if you were driving to Peshawar, which is the Pakistan's center of unrest, that's about 7.5 hours by car. If you're a terrorist and you don't own a new Mercedes, driving from Peshawar to Lahore, it's pretty much on your camel or whatever. It's about a 3-month run of some of the ugliest territory on this planet. But Lahore is not near Afghanistan. It's on the Indian border. It is nowhere near the city where you have a tremendous number of terrorist attacks. What you also don't have there is an American diplomatic presence. There's, as I know of, one diplomatic officer who processes passports, and he apparently has 5 Blackwater security guards to take care of him, but he's not in the car with them, and they seem to be running around the terror-stricken areas of town with radios, machine guns, phony names, cars with switched-out license plates. We had the one guy, of course, picked up for shooting 2 people under some circumstance that we're not sure of, but he's been arrested for murder. We have 4 more being sought, phony names, not diplomats. They fled the scene, and my question is, did they flee the scene because their car, their 4-wheel drive, I'm told it's a Jeep,
Hmm.
Was it filled with explosives?
As far as I'm concerned, that absolutely has to be the case because it would fit the pattern of car bombings throughout Pakistan, especially in this particular area. It has to be it. And the reason why that we've seen an increase in car bombings and just unrest in general in Pakistan, especially the CIA's video game style murder via the drones in Waziristan, is because Pakistan went ahead with a pipeline deal with Iran, the peace pipeline. Israel had been trying to crush all of their heart, and they managed to get India out of it. When Pakistan decided that they were going to go forward and sign this massive $7.5 billion energy deal with Iran, we saw what happened in Mumbai a little over 2 years ago, 26/11, the Mossad and RAW and CIA forced flag operation now. This year now, Pakistan continued to go through with the deal in defiance of what happened in Mumbai, and 2010 was the worst year so far for drone strikes with over 1,100 people being murdered, and now we continue to see bombings like this take place, murdering innocent people on just about an everyday basis. And the people that are at the heart of it, the agencies, the mass murder organizations that are right in the thick of it, are the Mossad, are India's RAW, and Blackwater.
Well, one of the unique things about this, the arrest here in Pakistan, is that in the U.S., one of the things we've seldom had the opportunity to do is to arrest a terrorist with a false passport, a false identity, in a rental car with a switched out plate full of automatic weapons and spy equipment. That reads terrorist to me. And they're holding an American. They're claiming to be a terrorist. They're seeking 4 more. This is the connect the dots on this, and I feel 2 positions here, that the Blackwater guys are usually veterans. I sure wish they could find somewhere else to work, and I would like to have this individual back somehow. On the other hand, I do see the need to use this situation to support an agenda we have. And that's been 9/11 is something that's been very dear to my heart. And people that are 9/11 deniers, you're either for the truth or you're a liar. And if you don't want the truth, then you want to lie. If you want to lie, why don't you go to some other country where it's supposed to be full of liars? That's not what America is supposed to be about. Well, in this case, we've arrested an American who very clearly, no question at all, is a terrorist guilty of a false flag attack on an American ally killing civilians. A 9/11 type attack. If they have one person doing that, the whole point was no American would be a terrorist involved attacking our own people. Well, if they're killing people in Pakistan, then they're killing American soldiers in Afghanistan. How do you make this differentiation, saying we only murder innocent people here, or we only kill American allies but not Americans? I don't believe there is a differentiation, and I believe that we have picked up a single individual of a vast terror network that's employed and operated by the United States government and its allies, primarily among which the Mossad could be named.
Yeah, I completely agree, Mr. Duff. And anytime we ever hear about a passport, a fake passport, being found on any one of these quote-unquote terrorists, the first thing that always pops into my head is Mossad. We know from the work done by ex-Mossad agent Viktor Ostrovsky that Israel has a passport-making facility inside a military base in the Zionist settlement of Petah Tikva. And they're able to duplicate any passport in the world. We saw it recently in Baghdad at the end of October with the attack on Sayyidat al-Najat Cathedral in the Qarada neighborhood of Baghdad, where 58 Christians were slaughtered, done in full collusion with the American government. And they found passports at the scene of Yemen, a country that Israel has been looking to invade for quite some time, and Egypt, where we recently saw a Mossad bombing at the Al-Qidassin Church in Alexandria. So this particular event in Pakistan is part of a greater movement of Israel's fission field warfare, which is the subject of my next article. I hope that I'll be done with it in the next couple of days. And it is to spread division throughout every enemy, quote unquote, enemy nation, so they can continue moving forward with their agenda of globalization. I would hope that the Pakistani people are going to reject it, and I would hope that they're going to take this particular Blackwater terrorist, and I hope that they do not blow this opportunity to extract the information necessary so this stops happening and that people stop being murdered.
Well, Jonathan, I've enjoyed having you on today, and we'll do this again real soon.
I look forward to it, Mr. Duff. Thank you for having me.
And listeners, thank you for tuning in to Veterans Today Television.